Hey all. Over the past week, I asked my Instagram followers what they would be interested in me vlogging about. So today I'm going to go through what I do to be mobile with the microKORG, and I actually have one production tip for you when using this synth. Let's dig in. Alright, so obviously I keep my setup pretty simple. 2 cables, a pedal, a Jambox, and the microKORG. Easy. Rechargeable batteries can be found, and I just use a 9-volt for the pedal, and then the Jambox charges on its own. It's got a lithium-ion battery in it. So what I'm going to do, if you haven't found out, I'm sure you have heard from other folks oftentimes that the microKORG presets are awful, and I typically agree. So what I do every time is I go in and I first off do this Shift 8, and it does this right protect, is what this UTP type thing means. You change your cutoff wheel and you go from off to on, and you can go off. And then you are able to write. So if I go back to this, just by hitting that same button, if I do Shift 3, I can then initialize this patch. And that means I set it to nothing. It gives me a couple of saws. It's kind of boring though, kind of sounds like a Casio. Which isn't a bad thing, but I think we can do better. One of my favorite things about the microKORG is it has these digital waves in it. So if you go to oscillator 1, it's literally right here, and change this cutoff knob. You can waste your time looking at this, but if you just get really familiar, kind of knowing where you need to go, you're going to be a lot more handy, especially live. So I go to this DI9, it actually means digital. And if you look up the manual, you can actually find that there's a bunch of different waves in here that really are fantastic. I like the 30s, there's some good electric pianos in here. So if I turn this up a little, and that's not a bad sound. I don't dislike that, but the really cool thing about the synth is if I hit this button again, I can go do all the synthesis for it. I can then change the cutoff. I can change the attack. And then I can change the release. Now that might not be too exciting, but where this all really comes into play is I can go set an arpeggiation, and I can then tweak these to whatever I like, and that kind of gives me a good basis. So I'm gonna go do that. So I have, I think it was 37 for the digital waveform. And what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna kick this arpeggiator button on, and at this point we should be able to do something. I'm gonna leave these knobs alone, so let's just play a D chord, maybe 2 of them. And you notice that it stopped. So the big thing I think of is I need to go to one of these and make sure it's latching. I think it's B. Yep, so if you go to arpeggio B, or arpeggiator B, you need to turn this first cutoff thing to on. And that means you can latch. So you can then play this again, and it will play forever. And you can do pitch and all sorts of stuff. So this is kind of where I start. Now this sound is pretty good, but it's got to do some changes. And one of the hardest things that I find is out of this arpeggiator B mode, you can't really go and get back into this mode. So what I do is I just turn this knob, hit 1, hit the patch that you're on, and then you can then change to what you like. So you might find something in here that you're starting to like. So if I slow this down, this is getting really pretty now. One of my favorite things to do is take this EG release, and you can have it start smearing into the next notes. That's pretty lovely, but it gets even better if you put it on a pedal. So, you saw? I set up this whole rig in less than 5 minutes, initialized the patch, picked a digital waveform, started an arpeggiation, and now I'm in this pretty zone where I can start Just changing things a little. It just sounds beautiful. So if you start taking off this attack, get really ambient pads. So my number one trick for microKORG, so we started this, one thing you could do is change your volume knob to kind of blend you into a song. And this is gonna just change with whatever you play, so I can go play this. Get really dark, but what I can then do so we talked about turning on that latch. One of the best ways I like to end a song, and this can be done in recording, you switch to this arpeggiation B again, and then you find this first wheel, the cutoff, and whenever you're ready, you flip it to off. And it'll fade out for you. So there you have it. Those are some of my tips on how to take the microKORG to go. If you like this channel, please subscribe. Let me know what I should possibly show off next, and we'll catch you soon. Thank you.